Hi guys, Chris Wheatley here, Chief Arsenal Reporter at Football London. Now, a lot of you have been asking about the players who could be leaving Arsenal next summer, and there's quite a few on that list, many of whom were expected to leave this summer, but it didn't end up happening because of their big contracts, they couldn't agree personal terms, and many other reasons. So I'm going to go through those list of players, starting with Alexander Lacazette. Now, Lacazette was linked with a summer move to the likes of Roma, Atletico Madrid, and many other big European teams. But the problem with Lacazette is he is one of Arsenal's highest paid players, and a move never really made much business sense or financial sense for him. So as it stands, he's set to see out his contract at Arsenal. People close to the player have told me that he has no intention of signing a new contract with Arsenal. That doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon. So Lacazette, we would expect to see him leave in the summer or perhaps in January. But as things stand, Mikel Arteta is more than happy to keep the Frenchman at the club.
No, he's fully involved. You give the reasons why he hasn't played more minutes, and he will be back to the form that he can achieve. And I'm sure that he will be instrumental in our success.
Mohamed Elneny is another player who was linked with a summer move away from the club. Now, his contract expires next summer. I was told that there were preliminary talks at the end of last season which weren't picked up and haven't been picked up since. He is set to leave the club next summer. He was linked with a move to Galatasaray on transfer deadline day, and it's my understanding that the club did bat away an inquiry from the Turkish side. I think Mikel Arteta does like Mohamed Elneny. He's someone he played with at club level. He respects him as a person and as a player. And of course, he's an extra body in midfield. He's currently sidelined through injury. But again, Elneny is another player set to leave the club. And then there's Callum Chambers, who, interestingly, has an option to extend his contract by 1 year in his contract. So he could stay for another year if Arsenal decide to take up that option. Now, as things stand, we haven't heard anything from the club that they are going to take up that option. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because Callum Chambers is someone that Mikel Arteta has shown a lot of faith in over the past season or so. He's filled in for him at right back, at centre back. He's even played in midfield. And of course, he's a homegrown player, which always adds to the player's value. So in terms of Callum Chambers potentially staying, I think he is probably the most likely out of these 6 players that I'm talking about today to stay at the club. So I probably would expect him to stay as things stand. Eddie Nketiah is another player whose contract expires next summer. He was linked with a move to Crystal Palace, and I'm told there were certainly talks and there was an agreement between Arsenal and Crystal Palace, but the player failed to agree personal terms. It's a common theme with many of the players this summer. Of course, they're within their own rights to reject a contract offer if it doesn't suit them. And with Nketiah, it ended up that Palace went for a different striker instead. They went for Edouard of Celtic, a player who has just scored against Tottenham in the Premier League. And it does look like Nketiah will be leaving next summer for free. He can sign a pre-contract agreement, just like all the other players whose contracts are expiring. He can sign a pre-contract with a foreign club in January. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are there any players here today that I've mentioned that you'd like to see stay at the club? And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for all the latest Arsenal news and views. Thanks guys, speak soon.